dan salam perpaduan. Thanks for joining us. I'm Shuhaida Arifin and you're watching News at 10. In our top stories tonight, upgrading of hawkers' facilities among key matters in talks with DBKL. No discussions so far on GST implementation. Proposals to develop and upgrade infrastructure and facilities for hawkers in Kuala Lumpur were among the issues discussed in Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim's meeting with the Kuala Lumpur City Hall DBKL today. The Prime Minister held the meeting with Kuala Lumpur Mayor Datuk Seri Mahdi Cik Ngah and DBKL Executive Director Socio-Economic Development Datuk Azmi Abdul Hamid at the Ministry of Finance in Putrajaya. In a post on Facebook, he said, hawkers and petty traders are among contributors to the national economy who need to be given attention so that they are not left behind. Previously, Datuk Seri Anwar said local authorities, especially those in urban areas, should provide adequate infrastructure and facilities for hawkers and petty traders to conduct business in a conducive environment. The re-implementation of the Goods and Services Tax GST is not the Unity Government's priority at the moment. Deputy Finance Minister Wan Datuk Seri Ahmad Maslan said there has not been any discussion or meeting held regarding the re-implementation of GST by the Cabinet.
Buatlah kajian di mana pun, daripada universiti biasa sampailah universiti paling ternama dalam dunia, tidak ada yang menyebut bahawa GST tak bagus. Kalau GST tak bagus, takkan 170 negara dah melaksanakan. Untuk apa 83% negara dalam dunia melaksanakan sesuatu yang tidak bagus? Tentulah 83% atau 170 daripada 194 negara itu membuat keputusan bahawa GST bagus. Teori tentang GST itu orang sentiasa bercakap. Dalam surat khabar, seminggu sekali ada sahaja yang menyebut tentang perkara itu. Cuma kerajaan belum berbincang mengenainya. Belum ada sebarang keputusan mengenainya. Untuk sementara ini, kita laksanakan apa yang sedang dilaksanakan.
He added the government is currently examining ways to increase government income without having to implement new taxes by reducing leakage in terms of smuggling. Datuk Seri Ahmad said this after the launching ceremony of National Accountant Convention 3.0 in Shah Alam. Commenting on the increase in the overnight policy rate OPR, Datuk Seri Ahmad suggested that Bank Negara Malaysia BNM provides information to the people in the event of any new announcement regarding the rate. He called the institution to be more open and provide a clearer explanation before making any announcement.
Saya telah menyarankan pada Bank Negara agar lebih terbuka berhadapan dengan masyarakat mengenai tindakan OPR yang mereka ambil itu. Jadi rakyat tidak faham bahawa kenaikan OPR boleh menurunkan inflasi. OPR yang rendah boleh meningkatkan inflasi. Rakyat tak faham tentang perkara itu. Sebab itu bukan bidang mereka. Bidang ini bidang Bank Negara. Jadi tugas Bank Negara ialah memahamkan Bank Negara itu sebahagian kerajaan. Dia bukan institusi yang terpisah, bukan? Jadi, tetapi mereka ada pandangan-pandangan yang tertentu berdasarkan kepada kaedah bagaimana central banks di luar negara berurusan, dan mereka juga memberikan taklimat-taklimat kepada Kementerian Kewangan.
The outlook for the Asia-Pacific APAC banking sector is stable, underpinned by relatively stable economic conditions, high loss buffers and improving profitability. Moody's Investor Service said economic outlook remains supportive of banks' growth and credit worthiness, even while moderating. The research firm said real gross domestic product GDP growth for many APAC market will moderate but remains healthy, adding that tight labour market conditions in advanced Asian markets will buffer the impact of high inflation and rising interest rates. Moody's said the global economic slowdown will present challenges for markets that are more heavily reliant on trade and exports as well as tourism. On the other hand, it noted the slowdown of China's growth would most directly impact banks in Hong Kong, China and Taiwan. Through other channels, it will have an indirect impact on banks in Australia, Indonesia, Mongolia, New Zealand and Thailand. The research house also shared that asset risk will rise, but credit costs will increase only modestly as banks maintain high loss-absorbing buffers. Sekolah Jenis Kebangsaan Tamil SJKT Azad in Jalan Kebun Bunga, Georgetown is the first primary school in Pulau Pinang to introduce the digital cashless school canteen in collaboration with Hong Leong Bank Berhad. SJKT Azad Headmistress A. Sri Jivagauri said the full ultimate goal of diverting into digital canteen was mainly to educate the younger generation on handling their finances, and the students will also be financially literate as well as being able to have the proper knowledge on budgeting. She said 70% of the students, or 65 out of 82 students, have decided to engage in the program. The school will make every attempt to get the remaining pupils to participate in this program in 2 weeks.
Kami nak buat satu transformasi digital. Dalam PDP, kami ada transformasi digital. Dalam bidang-bidang lain, saya boleh mulakan dari kantin. Jadi, bila murid mula gunakan kad, yang pertamanya mereka akan tahu cara menjimat wang. Selepas itu mereka pun masa pandemik ini, so using cash is not advisable kan. So that will minimize the use of cash flow, no. And then satu lagi is literasi kewangan.
She said this to reporters at the Digital Cashless Canteen program launched by Pulau Pinang Governor Tun Ahmad Fuzi Abdul Razak today. Sri Jivagauri said a total of 5,000 ringgit had been donated for the Digital Cashless Canteen program. Meanwhile, Regional Operation Manager of Hong Leong Bank, Wong Han Pin, said the students will open a junior account under the supervision of their parents. Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Ayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah has congratulated Tan Sri Michelle Yeoh on being the first Malaysian to win the Best Actress Award in a musical or comedy film at the 2023 Golden Globes in Los Angeles for her role in Everything Everywhere All at Once. In a post on Istana Negara's Facebook account, Their Majesties expressed their joy and pride over Yeoh's success and for placing Malaysia's name on the world stage. The post said that it also once again proves that the dedication, strong fighting spirit and hard work Malaysians can compete and succeed at the international level. Their Majesties wish Yeoh well and pray that she will be blessed with continued success. The 60-year-old actress made history Tuesday after becoming Malaysia's first ever Golden Globe Award winner. Other nominees in the category included Leslie Manville for Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, Anya Taylor-Joy for The Menu, Emma Thompson for Good Luck to You, Leon Grande and Margaret Robbie for Babylon. Coming up, PH Assemblyman join new Sabah Cabinet. 3 Sabah Assemblymen took their oaths as members of the Sabah Government Cabinet at Istana Sri Kinabalu earlier today. The Assemblymen comprised Sabah Pakatan Harapan Chairman Datuk Christina Liu, who is Api-Api Assemblyman, Luyang Assemblyman Fun Chi Tse of DAP, and Sugut Assemblyman James Ratib of Barisan Nasional. Datuk James was appointed as Minister of Community Development and People's Welfare. Datuk Christina was appointed as Tourism, Culture and Environment Minister, while Pung as the Industrial Development Minister. All the assemblymen were sworn in before Sabah Yang di-Pertua Negeri Tun Johar Mahiruddin, and they later signed their letters of appointment witnessed by Kota Kinabalu High Court Judge Dato' Ismail Ibrahim. Also present were Chief Minister Datuk Seri Haji Dino, Deputy Chief Minister LL Datuk Seri Dr. Jeffrey Kitingant, Deputy Chief Minister the Third Datuk Dr. Joachim Kun Salam, and Datuk Seri Masidi Manjun. In a related news, Datuk Seri Haji G today also announced a reshuffle of the Sabah State Cabinet. The Chief Minister said the reshuffle is necessary to further strengthen the state government. Datuk Seri Haji G also said that they will ensure the government will be able to function as a team sharing the same aspiration and respect. The reshuffling saw Parti Solidariti Tanah Airku Star President Datuk Seri Dr. Jeffrey Kitingant appointed as Deputy Chief Minister 1 cum State Agriculture and Fisheries Minister. Datuk Seri Dr. Jeffrey, who was earlier Deputy Chief Minister 2, replaced Sabah Barisan Nasional Chairman Datuk Seri Bung Muhtaradin, while Parti Bersatu Sabah Deputy President Datuk Seri Dr. Joachim Kun Salam, who was before this Deputy Chief Minister 3, was appointed Deputy Chief Minister 2. Kerana Assembly Datuk Seri Masidi Manjun of Gabungan Rakyat Sabah GRS was appointed as Finance Minister. Membakut Assemblyman Datuk Dr. Muhammad Arifin Muhammad Arif, who was before this State Minister of Special Functions, now holds the portfolio Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation. The National Crime Index recorded a 4.1% drop in 2022, with 50,819 cases reported as compared to 52,974 cases in 2021. Inspector General Police Tan Sri Sani Abdullah Sani said the achievement was the result of the performance of the Royal Malaysia Police PDRM officers and men who kept the national security situation at a good and control level. He said similarly on efforts to combat and prevent drug activities as 141,346 cases and 167,740 arrests were recorded in 2022 for various narcotics offences compared to 108,273 cases and 129,654 arrests in 2021. Speaking today, Tan Sri Sani said arrests under the Dangerous Drugs Act Special Preventive Measures also recorded an increase last year, involving 1,261 people compared to 1,186 in 2021. He said it clearly shows that PDRM remains committed to fighting the country's number one enemy, which is drugs. In addition, he said the statistics on commercial crime cases showed a decrease in 2022, with 30,536 cases recorded compared to 31,490 cases in 2021. He added 4 cases related to smuggling, migrants and national treasures. PDRM recorded 2,866 cases involving 5,945 arrests, with seizures valued at 495.6 million ringgit throughout last year. This was a slight increase compared to 2,811 cases involving 4,840 arrests and 445.9 million ringgit worth of seizures in 2021. A pair of brothers were arrested after they were caught in the act of cooking and processing drugs in a raid at a house in Kampar on Monday. Perak Police Chief Datuk Seri Muhammad Yusri Hassan Basri said the arrests were following a tip-off from the public and police intelligence work. The suspects aged 44 and 45 were arrested during a raid at 4 p.m. and police also confiscated several types of drugs including heroin and shabu at the house.
Ujian syariah air kencing telah dijalankan dan kedua-duanya didapati positif terhadap jenis morfin. Semakan rekod jenayah juga telah dijalankan dan mendapati mereka tidak mempunyai rekod kesalahan lampau.
Datuk Seri Muhammad Yusri said this at a media conference at the Perak Contingent Police Headquarters today. He added, investigations also revealed that the house was used as a drug processing laboratory since December for the local market. Police also found about 40 kilograms of heroin worth 600,000 ringgit and liquid suspected to be drugs worth 60,000 ringgit. Police also recovered a Honda City car with dignitary stickers that were also used to mislead authorities. The entire consignment of drugs, together with valuables seized, were estimated to be worth 750,782 ringgit, while the two suspects, who are unemployed, were remanded until 16 January to assist investigations under Section 39B of the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952. Coming up in our foreign segment, at least 6 injured in Paris stabbing rampage. Indonesian President Joko Widodo today expressed regret over mass human rights violations committed in the country's past, including a violent anti-communist purge in the 1960s and the disappearance of student protesters in the late 1990s. More than 500,000 leftists were massacred across the Southeast Asian nation in the mid-1960s, a bloody spectacle that ushered in the long rule of dictator Suharto.
Dengan pikiran yang jernih dan hati yang tulus, saya sebagai Kepala Negara Republik Indonesia mengakui bahwa pelanggaran hak asasi manusia yang berat memang terjadi di berbagai peristiwa. Dan saya sangat menyesalkan terjadinya peristiwa pelanggaran hak asasi manusia yang berat.
He said the government was trying to rehabilitate the victims' rights without negating the judicial resolution. The president also mentioned the murder and abduction of dozens of students, protesters and activists during mass street rallies in 1998 that brought down the 3-decade dictatorship of Suharto. The killings led to the collapse of the now banned Indonesian Communist Party (PKI), once among the biggest in the world behind those of China and the Soviet Union. The Indonesian leader went on to list 10 other violations that took place between 1960s and the early 2000s before he rose to power, based on the findings of a commission he ordered to investigate the violations last year. The Peru government imposed an overnight curfew in the restive southern region of Puno a day after at least 18 people were killed following violent clashes between demonstrators and security forces. According to Prime Minister Alberto Otarola, the curfew, which will run from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. local time in the region, will be in place for 3 days. The agitation follows the increasing death count of people, which rose to 40 in a month, protesting against the ousting of former President Pedro Castillo. Peru's top human rights agency called for an investigation into the deaths, 12 of which took place amid clashes between security forces and protesters attempting to seize control of an airport in the city of Juliaca, near the border with Bolivia. Castillo's successor, his former running mate Dina Boluarte, has supported a plan to push up to 2024 elections for presidents and Congress originally scheduled for 2026. She's also expressed support for judicial investigations into whether security forces acted with excessive force. A man with a knife attacked 6 people at the Gare du Nord train station in Paris on Wednesday morning, leaving one with major injuries. The attacker was shot several times by police and taken to hospital with life-threatening injuries. Police arrested the man at the busy station, which serves as a hub for trains to London and Northern Europe, after they opened fire and wounded him. A police spokesperson said the man's motives were not immediately clear and an investigation papers have been opened. One police source said the officers who shot the assailant was returning from their duty at the police headquarters to take their train and go home. The station is one of the busiest in Europe and a major link between Paris, London and the north of Europe. Police secured the area following the attack, which happened around 6:45 a.m. local time. Radio France 4, quoting rail operator SNCF, said trains were operating normally. Countries should consider recommending passengers wear masks on long-haul flights to counter the latest Omicron subvariant of COVID-19 given its rapid spread in the US. According to World Health Organization officials in Europe, the XBB 1.5 subvariant is being detected in small but growing numbers. WHO's Senior Emergency Officer for Europe, Catherine Smallwood, said this should be a recommendation issued to passengers arriving from anywhere where there's widespread COVID-19 transmission. The XBB 1.5 subvariant, the most transmissible Omicron subvariant that has been detected so far, accounted for 27.6% of COVID-19 cases in the US for the week ending 7th January. It remains unclear if XBB 1.5 will cause its own wave of infections around the world. Experts said current vaccines continue to protect against severe symptoms, hospitalization and death. If travel measures are considered, Smallwood said it should be implemented in a non-discriminatory manner. Measures that can be taken include genomic surveillance and targeting passengers arriving from other countries as long as it non-divert resources away from the domestic surveillance systems. Coming up in sports, Jinwei ready to bounce back after difficult years. Two-time former world junior champion Go Jinwei believes she has the right setup to help her qualify for the 2024 Paris Olympics. Since leaving BAM last year, the 23-year-old Penang Knight has been training under Indonesian Nova Armada at the Sports Affairs Badminton Academy alongside independent men's singles players Song Juven and Sham Junwei. Jinwei, who has struggled with health issues in recent years, was in high spirits today after reaching the second round of the Super 1000 Malaysia Open following a comfortable 21-11, 21-18 win over Germany's Yvonne Lee at the Axiata Arena in Bukit Jalil. She is set to face second seed An Se-yong of South Korea, who beat Malika Bansod of India 21-9, 21-13 in the second round tomorrow. In October 2019, Jinwei underwent a colectomy surgery, a procedure to remove all part of the colon. To make up for lost ground after not playing for nearly 2 years, Jinwei pushed herself last season by playing in 17 tournaments. The world number 33 disclosed that she will be more selective with her tournament planning. AFF Cup defending champions Thailand have qualified for the final after beating Malaysia 3-0 in the second leg semi-final match at Thammasat Stadium last night. Thailand overcame the one-goal deficit they picked up during their 0-1 first leg semi-final defeat on 7 January, outclassing the Malaysian team last night to secure an overall 3-1 aggregate victory. The home team grabbed the lead through a lovely header by Terasil Dangda, who beat defender Shahrul Nazim Zulpaka and Dominic Tant to slot in Thailand's first goal in the 19th minute. Malaysia was still very much in the game in the second half as they looked for ways to equalise through the introduction of substitutes Lee Tak and V. Ravindran. But there was not. Newcastle United qualified for the Carabao Cup semi-finals for the first time since 1976 as the second half goals from Dan Burnt and Yolinton sealed a 2-0 quarter-final win against Leicester at St James Park early this morning. Missed chances have plagued Newcastle's recent form, and again they were wasteful in front of goal in the first half against Leicester, mustering 12 shots without finding the net, with Sean Longstaff the guilty party on 2 occasions. The host almost edged in front immediately after the restart, but Joelinton's prodded effort came out of the post via a Mark Albrighton intervention. It was left to Burn to finally break Leicester down, with the Newcastle-born fullback finishing well on the hour mark to raise the roof at St James Park. The home supporters did not have to wait long for a game-clinching second, as Joelinton made one count to make sure of the win and keep Newcastle in the hunt for their first major domestic trophy since 1955. With Newcastle also chasing a top 4 finish in the Premier League, progression to a cup semi-final is a huge testament to the work done by Eddie Howe since his appointment in November 2021. João Felix has flown to London for his Chelsea medical ahead of a loan move from Atletico Madrid until the end of the season. The Blues, who are set to beat Premier League rivals Manchester United and Arsenal to the signing of the Portugal forward, will pay €11 million loan fee plus his wages. Felix would provide a much-needed boost to head coach Graham Potter's attacking options, with his side scoring just 20 goals in 17 Premier League matches this season. Despite the transfer window only being open for just over a week, Chelsea have already been active in January, signing Benoit Badiashile, David Datro Fofana and Andre Santos. Potter will hope their arrivals can help to improve his team's form, with just one win coming from their last 7 matches in all competitions. Chelsea are currently 10th in the Premier League, 10 points outside the top 4, and have already been knocked out of the FA Cup and Carabao Cup. The West London club's only realistic remaining hope of silverware this season is in the Champions League, where they face Borussia Dortmund in the last 16 next month. Alright, so that concludes this evening's news at 10. In our top story, PM discusses plans to upgrade infrastructure facilities for hawkers in KL. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. I'm Shuhaida Arifin. Stay tuned to Berita RTM and have a pleasant evening.